Hey guys, and welcome back to r/EntitledPeople. Hope you're all doing awesome today, and it's time to check out some more Reddit stories. So make sure to subscribe for more, and let's get right into it. You don't want to wait in the emergency department? If you insist. For starters, I work as a security guard for one of the few hospitals in our city. Besides dealing with combative patients and visitors and doing patrols around the campus, we occasionally get asked to assist with getting people out of their vehicles and escort them by wheelchair to the emergency department, or their appointments at an on-site clinic. Today, a couple of nurses came to our office, asking for help. They had received a call from a gentleman who we will call Gerald, asking for help to get out of their car, as he was in severe pain. I went out with the nurses, pushing a wheelchair and radioing my partner to come assist, as it sounded like it was going to take some extra hands to help him out. It took a little bit for us to find him, but we found him thanks to him blowing his car horn for all to hear. Now, I have interacted with dramatic people before, and this guy was no different. He told us all about how he was in so much pain, how he drove himself all the way over here and couldn't move the car anymore, how he needed to be treated. We tried to offer help, but he refused to grab our arms or hands to steady himself, relying on the car door and the wheelchair to get himself in it. Once he got himself settled, he asked me to move the vehicle to a better parking spot. After all, he had handicap stickers, and he needed the space to get in when he finished his visit here. So I obliged, feeling a little bit odd about the whole situation, and moved his car to a handicap spot near the emergency department entrance. Gerald got checked in at the emergency department, and we were done with the situation. At least that's what we thought. Boy, were we wrong. Not even 20 minutes later, I get told that this guy wanted to leave, and wanted us to take him back to his car. Apparently, he started complaining and moaning about how the wait time was too long. Keep in mind that there were people in the waiting room who had been there for hours. The emergency department was very full today, and this guy couldn't stand being there for even a few minutes. I first checked with the emergency department staff, because I was worried about the fact that he himself said he couldn't drive. They told me that since they hadn't triaged him, and he wanted to leave so soon, they legally couldn't hold him here even if they wanted to. Which they didn't care that much, since they were already busy with treating their patients. So I went back out to the emergency department and asked him point blank if he was really sure he wanted to leave, because I didn't want to be held responsible in case he drove and got into an accident. But he said yes, he wanted to leave right then and right now. So I reluctantly pushed him out of the emergency department towards his car. Gerald starts saying verbatim, "When we get to my car, I'm gonna call the ambulance." Wait, what? I ask. Yeah, gonna call an ambulance. I can't drive, and I don't like everyone here except you. They're too slow here, and I'm not gonna spend all night here. Besides, calling an ambulance will get me to a room quicker, and I can get help with my pain. So you want to call an ambulance to take you to the emergency department when you're already here at an emergency department? And all that because the wait time is too long for you? Yeah, he says. You realize that if you call an ambulance, they may just take you back to the waiting area and have you wait there, right? Yeah, I know that. I'm still gonna call. Well, okay, if that's what you want to do. So after helping the guy into his car, I decided to let him do just that. At that point, there was nothing else I could really do. After all, I'm just a security guard, not his doctor. So I just pushed the wheelchair back inside and went about my business. About 30 minutes later, I'm looking at CCTV footage, and right there next to this guy's car is an ambulance. My jaw dropped. The guy actually called 911 for an ambulance, and they came. I continued to watch as the AMT workers helped this guy into a gurney and placed him into the ambulance. Then, to my utter shock, they drove off campus. I had thought that they were going to drop him back off here, but they freaking left for another hospital? I then realized a couple of things. 1, this guy's going to another hospital, and going to be gone for who knows how long. 2, when he gets discharged, he's not going to have a ride, because you guessed it, his car is over here at this hospital. Plus, our policy is that if a car is parked in our lot for a few days, and we've confirmed that the owner is not here, we have to call the police and report an abandoned vehicle. So this guy is now getting additional costs added to his medical expenses because he took the ambulance. Possibly have to wait even more in the emergency department of another hospital before being seen, and may rack up some fines for abandoning his car depending on how long he's there. All because he didn't want to wait in the emergency department with everyone else. But hey, guess 20 minutes was way too much for him. Edit. Just found out that the car was taken early this morning, so no car fines for this guy. Karen runs out of gas, blames the cashier, aka me, and expects me to pay for it. Okay, so this is going back to 2003. I'm working a minimum wage job at a very busy gas station in the UK. I had only been there a few months. That's outstanding considering the staff turnover for this place. I know the ropes of the place, and it's also, and still is, very busy. Lines of cars and trucks going down the highway, and a line of customers going out the door, and I'm working alone as usual. Hundreds of customers with places to be. Karen got out of a taxi and came up to the front of the line, past 20 customers waiting patiently. Age 70 plus. She's dressed head to toe in a black velvet, a fur coat, and wearing more platinum jewelry than I've ever seen. She also looked vaguely familiar. See at the end. She demands in a very snobby voice, "I need fuel." Imagine Professor McGonagall from Harry Potter, but fatter. "I'm sorry, but you have to wait your turn," I said as I served customers. "I need fuel and my car collected from down the road," Karen said. Me and a few customers give her a weird look. "If you've broken down, I have the number for a recovery service, and you can use our phone," I say and hand her a card with the number and the phone, in between customers. She just looked at the card and phone as if I put dead rats on the counter. "Why can't you do it?" she asked. "I'm afraid to say I can't. It's very busy today," I said while still serving customers. "No, why can't you go retrieve my car?" Wondering what the hell, I say. "We're a petrol station. We don't offer recovery services." "Nonsense. You will collect my car this instant." I'm getting annoyed by now. So are the other customers. She lets her car run out of fuel, leaves it on a now gridlocked highway, gets a taxi to my station, and somehow it's my fault and responsibility to rectify the situation? So I say, "How? I can't close the station. I'm here on my own. I don't own a car or even have a license. I will call the recovery company for you when I have a free moment. Just be aware that they will charge a fee and need payment in cash. There is an ATM outside." She now gets red in the face. "Are you stupid? Why should I pay? My car has run out of fuel. You have to deal with it." I'm trying to keep cool, serve other customers, and find an alternative to get her out of the store at this point. "In that case, there are fuel cans behind you that you can purchase and fill." "Very well," she says. She picks up a 1-gallon can and slams it on the counter. "Go fill it." I quickly say sorry to the next customer and scan the can. That will be £5 and another $3.50 to fill it. $8.50 altogether. "I'm not paying for that. It is your responsibility to provide fuel, and your customer service is atrocious. I refuse to pay. You will pay for my recovery, my fuel, and my taxi." "Then you can leave," I said, and the entire line of customers start chewing her out too, telling her to get the F out. "You'll be hearing from me about this, and I will have your job for this insolence," she said, and she storms out and gets back into the taxi that was blocking my forecourt. We did hear back from her about a week later. She had gone to customer complaints, reached the regional manager and the national HR, claiming that I was responsible for her car running out of fuel, it being abandoned on a highway, refusing to pay for towing and refueling, and being humiliated in front of other customers, with demands of reimbursement and compensation for poor quality service. Finally, a letter of apology written and signed by me, with my letter of resignation. A week after this, the manager pulls me aside. She knew all about it. She heard the story from me and a few of our regular customers, as well as watched and heard it all on our security cameras. The Karen sounded crazy and looked like she had just come from a funeral. She chalked it up as being emotionally drained, senility, mental health, and said not to worry about it. She'd seen worse. Then she got the letters and phone calls from head office, and that threw her theory out the window. She handed me a copy of the response letter that was sent to Karen, stating that she was barred from all of our company's stations nationwide, informed that the company is not a charity, and entering one of our stations or approaching our staff will result in removal by police. I read the name and realized she was my old principal from primary school. She was an old hellhound when I was 5, and looks like she just got worse as she got older. See you in hell, Mrs. M. Peeping lady neighbor gets flashed. So many moons ago, I moved into an apartment, second floor. At the time, I was about 21, and I'm a guy. Nice place and decent part of town. Not long after I moved in, I noticed one of my second floor neighbors kept trying to look into my living room, through, around, any way possible past my curtains. I need to tell the layout of the apartment before I go any further. From front to back, I had a sunroom, fully inside the house, but windows everywhere in this room that gets a lot of light, and faces the street and neighbors across the street, church and church parking lot where we all parked for street cleaning. Past the sunroom was the living room, from there into the kitchen, then to the hallway which leads to the bathroom in both bedrooms, master bedroom being the last room in the back, that also leads to a porch for our apartment. So back to the story. I would always be nice to anyone, and would chat here and there with most of the neighbor ladies, whom were all nice. All except for one. She thought she was the queen of the street, and had to know what everyone was doing at any time. She would constantly try to look through my window to see what was going on in my apartment. She was about 65 years old or so. I would always see her craning her neck and head around to see into my apartment. I would try to ask her to stop, but she would never answer her door. Finally, after about 6 months of this, I decided to give her something to look at. So one morning, I got a shower, put on a robe, and went out to the sunroom. I always had the curtains closed at night and if I was undressed. I looked around the street and everywhere I could see to make sure no one was out and looking, but mainly wanted to make sure she was trying to look into my house. There she was, craning her neck, trying to look through my closed curtains. Me, still having the robe around me, opened the curtains, saw her again trying to look into my apartment, opened my robe in full view in the middle of that window. I thought she had a heart attack since her face contorted, and she grabbed her chest. Of course, her being a Karen called the cops to try to get me arrested. Well, the cops show up at her place, then come over to mine. I had gotten dressed by this time, so I went downstairs to open the door and talk to them, since I already knew what it was about. "Yeah, we got a report of you standing naked in front of your window," said Cop 1. "Yeah, wanna know why? I'll tell ya. Ever since I moved into my apartment, that old hag has been damn near breaking her neck trying to look into my apartment every day. Me and my roommate have tried asking her to stop, but she never answers her door. I finally got tired of her being a peeping Tom and gave her something to look at. And before you say anything, no one else was around when I did it. It's not my fault her 65-year-old ass can't handle seeing what I have." Both the cops are laughing their asses off. Cop 1 is trying to catch his breath and says, "Okay, I'll go talk to her and tell her that she can actually be arrested for peeping and making a false report. Do you want to press charges?" "Nah, I think she learned her lesson. But if she didn't, she'll get it again. But next time, it'll be a little more than she is gonna bargain for." The cops laugh again and say, "Just make sure no one's around if you have to do that again." They left, walked across the street, and about 10 minutes later they left, still laughing. She never tried to look into my house again. Well, that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to drop a like, I'd really appreciate it. And also hit that subscribe button for more Reddit shenanigans. So I'm out of here. Stay tuned for more, have an awesome day, and I'll see you next time.